So today we will do destructuring of arrays and objects. So this will help us to understand more about the React, because React uses this a lot, and that is why we are doing this. Before moving to more lectures on the React, we have to finish this part. Okay, let's see. Okay. So the destructuring is for the arrays and objects. Okay, so when we have array and when we have objects, we can use the concept of destructuring if we want, and we will see some of the examples of the destructuring, how to do the destructuring. So let me define some variable. Let's say var a, b, c, d. I'll just create some variables and then we'll play with these variables. Rest. Okay, so I just define some variables. Now, if I have array 10, 20, I want a to be assigned to 10 and b to be assigned to 20. That is, value of a to be 10 and value of b to be 20. So we can say, so this is the array, for example. I can say, right now if I pass a, I will get nothing. And if I have the array called as var array is equal to 10, 20. So what is the one way to assign it? I can say a is equal to array of 0. Okay, so this is the one way I assign a. Now if I check the value of a, I get 10. I can say b is equal to array of 1. And if I check the value of b, I am getting 20. So this is the one way of assigning the value. This is the normal way, old way, whichever we do. But let's do this assignment using the destructuring. So what I will do, I will create an array here on the left side, a, b. Let me first change the value of a to 0, to null, b to null, so that we can see the value after we do destructuring. If I do a, if I do b, I have value of null. So now what I will do, I will say a comma b on the left side, and on the right side I can pass the array which I want to destructure. Now this is the array on the right side which we want to destructure. Now when I say array of 10 and 20, this 10 will be assigned to a and 20 will be assigned to b. Why it will be assigned? Using the concept of destructuring. This is the concept of JavaScript. Now when I press enter, if I check a, I will get the value of 10. If I pass b, I will get the value of 20. So we pass array on the right side and we pass array on the left side. On the left side we pass the variable. Which variable? Which we have created here. So initially they have undefined value or null value because I change it to null. But when I do equal sign, a will be assigned to this first part and b will be assigned to this second part. Okay, this is called destructuring. That is, this value is assigned to a or this value is assigned to b. Let's do some more example on this. I can say a comma b and I pass the array 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now here we have 3 elements here, but here we have 2 elements. So the first element a will be assigned 1 and b will be assigned 2 and 3 will go unnoticed and 3 will not be assigned to any variable. So when I press enter, a will be 1, b will be 2. So since we did not put any more elements on the left side, so from the right side I see that first 2 elements will be absorbed and third element will be in the air. It will not be assigned to any variable. Okay, so this is called the destructuring. Let's see more examples of destructuring. So I will, on the left side, I will say A, comma B, and in the third part, I will put rest, this rest. And if you see, I am putting rest with 3 dot. This 3 dot is called the spread operator. What is it called? Spread operator. We will be doing that a lot in React. So this is called spread operator. Now, when I put dot 3 with any variable name, right now I put rest, I can put x, y, z, whatever I want. But right now I put rest because I created variable rest in the beginning. Now if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, now what will happen? A will be assigned to 1, 1 will be assigned to A, 2 will be assigned to B, and all this 3, 4, 5 will be assigned to the rest variable. So 3, 4, 5 will be array and it will be assigned to the rest variable, but A will be simple numeric with 1 value, B will be simple numeric with the 2 value. So if I press enter, if I check A, it is 1, B, it is 2, and if I check rest, it is 3, 4, and 5, because rest means when I put dot dot dot, dot 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 means it will take all of the last elements. Okay, it is called the rest operator. So there are two operators, kind of spread operator and rest operator. We will see the difference in few days, not today. But remember, when I put dot, it is kind of spread operator, but in this case, it is rest operator also. Forget about rest operator or spread operator right now. Right now, only you have to understand that A will be assigned 1, B will be assigned 2, and whatever rest remains will be assigned to this rest variable. And this dot 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 rest is to be present in the end. I cannot put any more element after this rest. So for example, if you think that let's put A here, B here, dot 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 rest, and I will try C here with the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I try to do this, you will see I will get error, because this dot 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 rest should be the last element. So whatever it will be in the array in the last, it will be assigned to rest. But if I put any element after this dot 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 operator, then it will give error. It is not a proper syntax. So for example, let's take another example. If I have A and then I put rest here and I put equal sign, I will put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have the 9 elements here. So now what will happen? A will get value of 1, but all this 2, 3 to 9 will be applied to the rest one. So if I say rest, I'll get 2 to 9. So the rest should be in the last and it should be appended with the 3 dots. When I append it with 3 dots, if we have some elements before this, it will be assigned to the first element. If we have 2, it will be assigned to 2 elements, and whatever rest remains will be assigned to this rest variable. I can rename it to anything. This is a naming convention, but it should be appended with the 3 dots. It will become more clear as we move further. Let's move further. Okay, so let me empty this. Now let me create few more variables, x, y, z. Now what I will do, I will create x equal to array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I will do, I will assign y and z equal to, I can assign it to array. I can put array like this. Then y will become 1 and z will become 2. But instead of this array hard coded, I can also pass x here, because x is same thing, 1 to 5. So it is one and the same thing. So when I do this, y will become 1 and z will become 2. Okay, because we put first, second element, y will get first element, z will get second element. Okay, so is this part clear, whatever I explained you? Okay, Ashok Kumar is saying yes. So if it's not clear, then you can ask me or watch the video again after the class to understand it again. And we will doing more examples so it will be more clear with you. Now let's try to create few more variables, and I can use late, constant, or var, anything. I can use late or constant or var. Any of these three I can use. Right now I'm using var for practice, but when I do the real world example, I will use late or const depending on if I want to change the value. So let's create some variable: red, yellow, green, and foo. So I created 4 variables. Now what I will do, I will make foo as an array with value of 1, 2, and 3. Now what I will do, I will assign red, yellow, green on the left side like this variable name, and on the right side I can copy and paste this array like this, or I can use the foo variable. So I can put foo. Foo is nothing but 1, 2, and 3. Now when I press enter, what will be the value of red? 1. What will be the value of 2? Okay, yeah. What will be the value of yellow? It is 2. I asked 2. It is reverse. Sorry. So yellow will be 2, right? What will be the value of green? 3, right? So previously I reversed the thing. It's okay. So when I do this, red will get 1, yellow will get 2, and green will get 3. Now if I do like this, what will be the value of red? 1. What will be the value of yellow? 2. And what will be the value of green? Green will be undefined because we have not defined the value of green here. Now if I want if I put green here, I want the value of green to be 3. What should I do here? What should I change here? Can you write? I want the value of green to be 3, not 2, and yellow should not get any value. What should I do? Okay, so since we are putting in the between, dot dot will not work. I just put comma here. So the center one will not get anything. Green 3 will be assigned to green, 2 will not be assigned to anyone, and 1 will be assigned to green because we put comma. So here it is empty kind of thing. And then if I check here, red will get 1, yellow will get undefined because we did not put yellow in the between, and if I put green, it will be 3. So green was getting the value of 3 now. So 2 is now in the air. Nobody will get the value of 2. Okay, so let's move further now. Okay, now let's do one more example. I create a variable a equal to value of 1, and I say value of b equal to 2. Okay, so now I will say a comma b is equal to b comma a. Now after I run this statement, what will be the value of a? A will get 2 because A will get B value, B is 2, and B will get value of A, that is 1. So after I run this statement, the numbers will be reversed. So now if I check A, it is 2, and if I check B, it is 1. So this is one of the common interview questions when they ask like this. swap the numbers. Question is like this. Swap the numbers of two variables without using temporary variable. So when they say we have to swap the value of two variables without using the temporary variable. Generally we can use temporary variable to swap the values, but in this way we can swap the value without using the temporary variable. Okay, so this is one of the common interview question. Okay, let's go further. Now what I will do, I will put the default values. Now let's use the default values in destructuring. Okay, how to use default value? I will create A equal to 5 and B equal to 7, and I assign it to an array with only one value 1. Now A will get this one value and B does not have any second value in this part. We don't have here. We don't have this part. Since B does not have the second part, so B will take the default value of 7. So what A will get? A has a default value of 5. B has a default value of 7. But we assign it to a different array which has only one value. Since it has only one value, so this one will go to the A part, and B does not have any value from this array, so B will get the default value of 7. So when I run this, A will be 1 because 1 will be assigned to A, and B will get the value of 7. So if I put B, it is 7. One second. Okay, so this is called the default values. We often use default values if we expect nothing or some value here and we don't want to change it if nothing comes. We want to give some default value on the left side. Okay, let's take some more example. Okay, let's take another example. Now I can also create a function, and function is it will return some array. For example, it will return 1, 2. So this is my function. Now I can also do A, B equal to a function, because this function, I execute this function here. When I execute this function, it has a value of 1 and 2, and I assign it to A and B. So now after I run this statement, what will be the value of A? 1, correct. What will be the value of B? 2, correct. So maybe my function is very complex and in the end it returns an array which I reassign to some variable names. I can use this way and then I will get appropriate A value and B value. Okay, let's take few more examples now. Let's do one more example, though I have explained it, but I want to see what is your answer. If I put A and if I put dot dot B is equal to 1, 2, 3, what will be the value of A in this case? 1, correct. What will be the value of B? 2, 3 in array. So if I put B, it is in the array 2, 3, and A will be simple numeric 1 and it is the value of 1. Okay, so this is good. Now what will happen if I do like this? I put comma in the end. What will happen? Error. It will give error because after spread operator we should not have any more element. If I put comma, that means it is expecting something in the end, and so it will give me error. So rest element should be the last element in the destructuring. Okay. Now whatever examples we did are the examples of the array destructuring. I hope you have understood the array destructuring, that we assign this part to this variable, this part to this variable. So it is very clear how the array destructuring work. And if you are not understood, you can walk through the video again and again after the class. Now let's do the object destructuring. Object destructuring is more often used in the React rather than the array destructuring. But we can use array destructuring also, but it is less used, and object destructuring is more used in React. So let's try to do the object destructuring. So let me create variables. I will create some variables where user ID is verified. Okay, so these are the three variables I created it. Right now, if I check the value, it is undefined. Okay, now what I will do, I will create an object. To create the object, we use the curly brackets. And here I will say ID is equal to 42. What is the value of ID? 42. And if I say is verified, I will make it as true, that this user is verified. Now if I check the user object, it is ID and is verified. What is the user? It is ID and is verified. Now this user is the object with ID and is verified as two properties of this user. Now I want this ID to be the separate variable with the value of 42 and is verified to be the separate variable and its value should be the true. Now if I check ID, ID does not have value, but I want ID to be extracted from this object as a separate value. So what I will do, I will start with the curly bracket. Like in the array, we were using rectangular bracket. Here we will use curly bracket, and I will say ID and is verified, and I will make it equal to user. Now when I make it to user, from the user, ID will be extracted and assigned to this ID, and is verified will be extracted and will be assigned to this is verified. So if I do like this, okay, so this is giving me error. Okay, maybe the syntax is not right. Let me start using this one. Okay, so in array we could use the rectangular bracket. Here we have to use the let constant or var in the beginning before we use the curly bracket. Now if I check the ID, its value is 42, and if I check the is verified, its value is true. Okay, so this does not work with without this variable constant. Okay, so you can put let constant or var before the curly bracket, but rest of the things will remain same. Okay, let's see some more examples. Okay, let me try one more syntax. Okay, for this one second. If I put this equal to, because initially I was starting with the curly bracket, it didn't work that way, but if I put in the round bracket, it may work. Okay, ID and is okay, now it's working. Yes, so we have to wrap in the round bracket, otherwise it gives the error. Either I can put var and do curly bracket, or I can put everything in the round bracket and I can put inside it like this way. Okay, so then it will work fine. ID is giving correctly, is verified is going correctly. Okay, so this is something which we have to change for this case. Okay, let's try one more example. I will create a variable o equal to p is having the 42 value and q is having the true value. Okay, so this is o. I will also create variable p and q just for sake of creating the variables. So if I check o is the object p and q. Now let me put in the round bracket. So now if I do curly bracket equal to o, now if I pass only p, okay, right now what is the value of p? P is undefined. Now if I pass only p, what will happen after this statement? What will be the value of p? P will be 42. Now what will be the value of q after I pass this statement? What will be the value of q after I pass this statement? It will be undefined because on the left side we are not using q, we are using only p. So it will not automatically expand to q and give the q the value. So if I run this, p will be 42 correct, q will be undefined because on the left side we are using only p. So let's try again. If I put p and q, then q will get value of true. P will get. So when we destructure like this, whatever variable we have mentioned on the left side, that only will be destructured. It will not destructure q because we have only mentioned p on the left side. We have not used q on the left side, and that is the reason on the left side we will be only using p, and the value after this only p will be assigned the value, not the q. Okay, let's take few more examples now. Now this becomes now here I will give you one example. I will create a variable x, for example, equal to object. I will create object, and this object has the key of foo dash bar and the value of 1000. Another is bar dash foo and the value of 2000. Okay, I just created two key value pairs. Now if I see x is foo bar and bar foo. Now you have to destructure this. And you have to assign when you destructure it. Let's see how to destructure this part. I will do it and you have to tell me will this work. So I put curly bracket here and I will put x on the right side. So on the left side I want to destructure first line. What will I put it here? I have to destructure first part, so what should I put here? Where is p? Now p is not there, so we cannot use p. X does not have p, so if I put p here, p will not get anything because p is not in the x. If p is not in the x, so how can I put p on the left side? I can only put from this key value pairs. Okay, Atul is saying foo bar. Okay, let's put the foo bar. He is right. His idea is right, but it will not work. So shall I put in the single quote like this, or I should put without single quote? What is your idea? With quote, with single quote or double quote. Okay, so let's put in the single quote. Now after I am done with this line of statement, can I use this variable? Is this a proper variable name? Okay, let's do this. So when I run this, I am getting error because this is not a proper variable name. Okay, so to fix this, we need to rename this to some other variable which is the proper JavaScript variable name. So to rename it, I use colon, that is this colon, and I can rename it to something different, which is a proper JavaScript variable name. If I do this, now if I print foo bar, I am getting the value of foo bar. But if I put this, it is normal string with the same value because it is a normal string, and I cannot put foo bar without the single quote, then it will give the error because this is not a variable JavaScript variable name. Okay, so let's work on this little bit more. This is little bit complex. So now, since this left side is not a proper JavaScript variable, I cannot say foo bar, it will give me error. So when I want to destructure this, equal to x, I want to rename this foo bar. So to rename the foo bar, I will use the colon and put anything. Maybe I can say XYZ. Maybe I can say name, or maybe I can say foo bar. And I will give comma. And for the second case, I have to rename it to different name. And maybe I can say bar foo. Now how to rename it? I am using the colon. You remember for giving the default value, we were using equal sign. But now to rename this part, I will use colon. And when I press enter, I can say bar foo, it is 2000, and foo bar, it is 1000. So this is something used renaming. You can rename it even if this is a valid JavaScript name, but you want to change it, then you can rename it. But if it is not a valid JavaScript variable name, then you have to rename it anyhow. It's mandatory to rename it. Okay, I can rename it now to something like this. Let's rename it to foo bar to P and bar foo to Q equal to X. Now if I put P, it is 1000. If I put Q, it is 2000. So it is renaming. Renaming is done like this. Okay, so whatever examples I'm showing it today, watch the video today night, and I will be tomorrow before the class, I will take 5 minutes to ask you the questions on this one. So you should be prepared with all this, normally it is very easy if it is simple object, but these are the exceptional cases which you have to remember. Otherwise, if we have a normal variable O equal to object, then we can destructure it easily as we have seen before. But in this case, we have to understand how to destructure it by renaming it. Okay, let's do some more example. So let's do the default example. One more default example. I will create one object var x equal to a equal to 10. A equal to 3. This is my object. X is a equal to 3. Now I will destructure it equal to x. So here I will destructure it by saying a equal to 10 and b equal to 5. Now what I did on the left side, I give the default value. I'm not renaming, so I'm not using colon. Colon is used for renaming, but when I want to put the default value, I use equal sign. So I gave on the left side a equal to 10, b equal to 5, and assign to x. X has only a, x does not have b. So when I process this statement, what will be the value of A? 3. Ashok Kumar is saying 3. Since A is equal to 10 is the default value, but it will be overwritten by this A equal to 3. So after I run this statement, A will become 3. What will be the value of B after this line? B will be not undefined. Though B is not here, so that means B does not exist in the X, so it will use the default value of B, that is the 5. So after this line of statement, B will become 5. If I don't put this line, then B will become undefined. But because of the default value, though it is not there in the X, it will take the default value of 5. So after I run this, A will be 3 because X has A equal to 3, and B will be 5 because X does not have B equal to any value, so it will take from the default value. Default value is given when you don't have any value in the right side. You don't have value in the right side, so you will put default value on the left side. Okay, let's take one more example here. I have X as A equal to 3. Now on the left side, I will create an object by saying A, and I will rename the object. I will rename the object to AA, and then I will assign the default value. So what I'm doing, I'm taking A, renaming it to AA, and then assigning the default value 10. Similarly for the B, I will renaming to BB, and I will make it equal to 5. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do this again in the new tab, because already a lot of variables are there in the old tab. Let me create variable X equal to A colon 3, and I will create variable A, B, AA, BB, something. This is just defining the variable. Now what I'm doing, on the left side, I'm taking A, renaming it to AA, value 10. I'm taking B, renaming it to BB, make it default value as 5. So if we don't have any X value, then the default value will be 5. And if we don't have the value of A on the X, then it will be 10. But since we have A as a 3, therefore it will not take 10, it will take 3 here. Now after I run this statement, what will be the value of A? Some are saying 10 and some are saying 3. But you remember that A is now renamed to AA. So A has no existence. A is renamed to AA. So we don't get the value of A from X. It is reassigned to AA. So now tell me, what will be the value of A? Undefined. Okay, we will check after this. Okay, what will be the value of AA? What will be the value of AA? The default value of AA is 10. But A will be getting the value from X as 3. And then it is renamed to AA. So AA will get the value of 3. Right. Initially everyone said 10, now everyone converted to 3. What will be the value of B after this line of statement? Someone is saying fire, someone is saying undefined. Since B is reassigned to BB, therefore B does not have any existence after this line of statement. It will be original value like this. So after this statement, B will be undefined. What will be the value of BB? It is 5 because B will try to get its value from the X, but X does not have B. So B will take the value of 5, but it will be not assigned to BB. It will not assign to B. It will be assigned to BB because B is renamed not to BB. Okay, hope this is clear. Let me enter it and we will see. Now if I check A, it is undefined. If I check AA, it is 3, which is coming from here. If I check B, it is undefined because B is renamed to BB. So original B will get its original value, which is undefined from here. Now if I put BB, it will be 5 because B does not exist here. B does not exist here. So BB will take its default value. It is 5. Okay, so this is interesting example. You can walk through again after the class. I will put this in notes and give you in few minutes. Okay, now things become more complicated. One of the most complicated example of today. I will create a variable user is equal to an object. Object has ID of 34, for example, and it has a display name of Jack, and then full name. Okay, display name I will put not Jack. Okay, Jack Bauer. Okay, I will put display name as Jack Bauer, or I will say JB. Okay, easy. Now full name. Full name is the object. So we have one object at the top level, and we have another level at the sub level. So full name is the object, and it has first name of Jack and the last name as Bauer. Okay, so this is the variable I created it. So if I check user, it is saying ID, display name, and full name Jack Bauer. Let me do it again. Okay, so this is our user object. Now let me create some variables. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me create one function, and the function will be user ID, and ID is there. So now what I can do, I can call this user ID function, and I can pass this user variable inside this. Okay, so maybe here I will say U. So this user will go inside here as U, and I can return U.ID to get the user ID. Is this correct? I created a function. I can pass this object inside it, and then inside it U.ID is the ID of that user. And when I call this function, I will pass this user object. Is this correct? Okay, so let's try to see this one, if it is returning correctly or not. So it is returning 34 correctly because I put the user ID and I passed this user, and ID is 34. Now let's do it this differently. This is the user which I have. Now let's create this function little differently. Instead of passing U, which I know is this object, it will be in this format. So what I will do, I will start with the curly bracket. Okay, so I will start with the curly bracket. This is something similar to I'm passing user instead this. So that means when I pass user, here I'm destructuring it. So user is destructure it. So this is something like this is equal to user. So if I put ID here, what will be the value of ID if I process this line? 34, 34, right? So I can write this, or when I'm using the function, I want the ID. So here I know I'm passing object. So here I can use the left side and I can put ID here. So instead of passing the whole user, though I'm passing here the whole user, but instead of getting the whole user, I am getting the ID. So here I can return ID directly. And this is, when I'm passing user, this is similar to this one, and curly bracket, this is similar to this one. So when I pass user, it is actually, and when I'm trying to do this destructuring of user, I'm trying to get ID from the user. So it will work same way. So when I do now, it is giving me 34. Okay, so this is the one example where we pass the object, but when retrieving it, we are not retrieving it with the user, we are retrieving it by destructuring the object. Okay, let's take one more example on this one to make it clear. I may repeat this destructuring part multiple times because this is very complex thing and very important, and it will be used a lot in the React. So this thing which I am explaining today, I will be repeating this whenever I will destructure in React. Okay, so let's do again. What is the user? User has ID, display name, and full name. Now let's try to get the display name. To get the display name, I'll create a function, get display name, and I know I will be passing the object. Which object I will be passing? User. Okay, so to get the display name, I will not put u and then try to say return u dot display name. This will work fine. I'm passing object and object has the display name. So this will work fine. But I don't want to do that. I want to destructure it. Okay, destructure it. So what I will write it here? I'm destructuring user. I want to get the display name. What will I put it here? Display name, correct. So here I will put display name. So when I put display name, it will automatically take display name from this object because it is a destructuring, and I will return this display name here. So when I place enter, I am getting JB because JB is the display name. Let's make the things more complicated. Hope this is clear with you. Let's make the things more complicated. This is my user. Okay, I will create now a function which is more complicated. Now what I will do? I will do function. Maybe I will name it F right now. I don't want to name it specifically. And when I call this function, I will pass the user object. Now I will destructure the user object here. Okay, then I will return something. Okay, how to destructure it here? So first destructure is I want to destructure ID. So I destructure ID. So that means when I create this curly bracket, when I pass ID, ID will come from this user object and ID will get the value of 34. I can put multiple values in destructuring. Let's put the display name. I destructure display name. So when I put this like this, display name will be coming from this. Now I want the first name. First name is inside the full name. So how will I write first name here? Will this first name like this work? No. Then what should I do? So this first name will not work. The reason first name will not work because first name is not here, first name is not here. First name is inside the full name. Full name is the object. So what we have to do, watch here. So this is the most complex part of this destructuring. So here I will give this full name. Okay, I will give full name and then colon, and I will create object. When I create object, now I can give the first name because first name exists inside the full name. So I will put the first name. I want to also destructure the last name. So I will do comma last name. Okay, now I can return, or I'll do console.log for you to see. ID is ID, display name is display name, first name is first name. For example, I don't want last name, so I will not put last name. I just will put first name. Let's see how it will work now. So ID is saying 34, display name is JB, first name is Jack. Now let's make this function little more complex. Here I want first name, but I want to rename it to name. So I'll put colon name. So when I put colon name, then the first name is not here. This first name is not here. If I put first name here, it will not work. The value of first name is not, the variable first name is not in this scope because I have renamed first name to name. So what I have to do, I have to change the first name to name. Okay, so this is something we do. I press enter and now first name is saying Jack, it is nothing but this name. Okay, so if I put first name here, it will not work. Let me show you this example. So if I use first name, will it work? No, because first name is reassigned to name. First name is changed to name. Okay, so let's put the name here. Let's make things more complicated here. I will say age and rename age to my age and put the default value of 22. Now whether if I put age here, will it work? No, because age is renamed to my age. So I have to put my age. Will my age work? Yes, correct. My age will work. But what will be the value here? 22. Correct. Because since we don't have age in the user, so it will take the default value of 22. If I do enter this, I am getting age of 22. If I put user dot full name dot age equal to 78, if I change the user, now if I try to pass it, what will be the value of age, my age? Okay, let's see the user. So user has full name with age of 78. Now if I run this function, what will be the age equal to? It will be 78 because 22 is the default value. But if we get some value, it will take that value. It will not take the default value because we are passing it. If I enter it now, I am getting age of 78. Is it clear? Okay. Let's take one more example. Okay, so we will be doing this destructuring a lot in React. So you don't think that if it's not clear today, don't worry, it will be cleared when we do multiple times. So let's take one more example. I will create. Okay, I am creating an object and I am assigning to this one. So this object has A of 10, B of 20, C of 30, D of 40. So on the right side, we have A, B, C, and D. On the left side, I pass only A, comma B, and I will put rest. Rest means all others. So when I press enter, what will be the value of A after this line of statement? 10, correct. What will be the value of B? 20, correct. What will be the value of rest? Rest will be object with C and D. So if I put A, it is 10, B, it is 20, and rest is object with 30 and 40. So like in array, the rest is now object. In array, the rest was array, but now here it is the object. Okay, let's take the one last example of the today's last example. So I will create one key with the value of Z. Then I have this object is equal to another object, and here it's saying Z is equal to bar. Okay, now I can do like Z like this, and I can get the value of Z here. Okay, so after this I can get the value of Z. Okay, if I put this, I can say Z is bar because I'm destructuring Z. Okay, let's do this little bit different way. Okay, so we have key equal to Z, and I'm saying Z equal to bar, but instead of Z, I'm putting this variable name. So whether key will work or no, because key has a value of Z, whether I will be able to extract Z whether with this method. Because key is Z, I want to extract Z. So shall I put key here like this, and will I be able to get Z with this method? So the answer is no, because when I put key, it expects there should be key here, like this, key equal to something. Okay, when I put key here, it expects key should be a key here. It will not take this key. It will not assume this key. It will expect this key here. So how to take this variable Z with the help of this key? So to take this Z with the help of this key, I will put it into the rectangular bracket, and I will put key. So now this key is nothing but this Z, and we are getting Z to this one. But this will also not work. We have to, okay, let's see if it is working or not. Let's see, and then we will see another way. Because I have not tried this, but let's try it. Okay. Now if I do, okay, if I do key, its value of Z. If I do Z, it is not there. So we don't have Z here, right? So let's try to do key here with this and see. Okay, so now this will also not work because though the key is Z, this Z will not be assigned to this rectangular bracket. Okay, so to make it work, we have to rename this key to some different thing. I can make it to foo, for example, foo. Okay, so now if I enter it, if I check foo, I'm getting this value bar. So many times this key part which is in this object comes dynamically, and then we can rename it, and I can use this rename value. Okay, so this way we did this dynamic part. So just let's do it again, because this is little tricky. I created what, for example, A equal to B. Okay, now I want to extract B. So we have object here, and we have object here, and here object is B equal to 100. So now I want to extract B, but B is coming as a dynamic value of this A. So what I will do, I will put in the rectangular bracket A, and then I will rename it to something different, for example C. And then press enter, then I will get the value of C as 100. So this is edge case. Don't put more pressure on this case. This edge case is not the normal case. Okay. So that's for all about the destructuring, and we will doing destructuring a lot when we will be doing the React, because this all things will come in the React. So all this thing we will be doing in the React. Okay. Any questions on this?